Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, former President Donald Trump has been teasing a big announcement for days. Will he launch a 2024 run for the White House tonight? And new information about the University of Virginia shooting that left 3 football players dead.
Plus, we're seeing the end of showers in the region this evening before more cold air moves in later this week. The latest details on the way as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Former President Donald Trump is teasing a big announcement from his Florida club and home tonight, and supporters hope it's a 3rd run for the White House. Trump was looking for a bounce from midterm victories that, by and large, did not materialize. Still, he's pressing forward with his announcement, despite some in the GOP urging him to wait. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has more from West Palm Beach.
Supporters are already flying Trump 2024 flags outside the former president's Mar-a-Lago club and home, and paraphernalia is for sale nearby.
I am a Trump girl, as my shirt says.
Eager supporters are awaiting word.
I'm hoping Trump announces he's going to run for president because we need him back.
I'm going to be making a very big announcement.
For months, the former president has been dropping hints he wants his old job back. And sources close to Donald Trump tell CBS News he intends to launch his 2024 presidential campaign tonight from Mar-a-Lago. That's in spite of disappointing GOP midterm results for candidates Trump endorsed.
Anybody can run. I think, the world has changed considerably just in recent weeks.
Anticipating tonight's announcement, President Biden tweeted a new ad hitting his predecessor on what's now Biden's signature legislation.
I want to rebuild our infrastructure first.
Infrastructure.
Trump also brings legal baggage to a potential candidacy, including his handling of classified documents that followed him all the way here to Mar-a-Lago, and the New York Attorney General's investigation into his business practices. But there are other things Trump has that potential rivals don't. Nearly $100 million in campaign funds, a devoted base of at least 30% in any 2024 primary contest, a full digital operation with more than 50 million voter contacts and support at state and local party levels. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a possible challenger, deflected a reporter's question about Trump's criticism of him.
When you're leading, when you're getting things done, you take incoming fire. That's just the nature of it.
An early announcement from Trump could pressure other hopefuls to move faster or stay out of the fray. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Just yesterday, Trump defied a subpoena from the Select House Committee investigating the January 6th attack. He's suing to avoid testifying. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell welcomed newly elected Republican senators to Washington, D.C. The group is in the nation's capital for the congressional member orientation. The group gathered in his office for a photo op, and Senator McConnell encouraged the new senators to accomplish something during their time.
Okay, we're happy to welcome our new senators this morning. Our former colleague Lamar Alexander used to say it's hard to get here, hard to stay here. So while you're here, why don't you try to accomplish something? And so we're thrilled to have these new senators orientation this week, and look forward to making significant progress for the country.
When a shouted question asked if the new members would support McConnell as leader, they were encouraged not to answer, and the Senate Minority Leader declined to answer as well. Well, Republicans in Congress are voting on who they want to lead their caucuses in the House and Senate. CBS's Deborah Alfarone has more from Capitol Hill.
Kevin McCarthy has survived the first challenge to his leadership, winning support among Republican colleagues to be Speaker of the House in the next session of Congress.
We have strong Republican leadership ready to hit the ground running, ready to go on January 3rd when we take back the House majority.
Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs, the former head of the right-wing Freedom Caucus, unsuccessfully challenged McCarthy. Though McCarthy won this nomination vote, he has a lot of work to do to unify Republicans before January's vote in the full House.
I think you'll see a critical mass say that we want to turn the page. We want new leadership, we want fresh faces and new ideas. And what I can tell you as I stand here right now is that Kevin McCarthy does not have 218 votes to become Speaker.
Senate Republicans will hold their leadership vote Wednesday, but some GOP senators want that vote delayed until after the Senate runoff election in Georgia.
I just don't understand why we would say to Herschel Walker, please, 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 please go win the Senate seat, but we're not interested in what you have to say. We don't even want you to have a voice in our elections. I just think that's wrong.
Some Republicans say they are not happy with Mitch McConnell's inability to lead them to victory in the midterm elections.
Our current leadership believes the way you win elections is that you don't stand for anything. You don't have an agenda. You don't have a plan. Instead, that the only thing you stand up and say is, well, I'm not a Democrat, so vote for me. You know what? Election day showed we need to be more than just not a Democrat.
Florida Senator Rick Scott announced Tuesday afternoon he will challenge McConnell for the minority leader position. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Well, House Democrats are scheduled to hold their leadership vote at the end of the month, giving Nancy Pelosi time to decide if she wants to run again. Senate Democrats are scheduled to vote December 1st, but may delay that vote until after the December 6th Senate runoff election in Georgia.
It has been a cloudy and cold day throughout the region today, and we'll continue to see the clouds be a prominent player in our forecast for the next 24 hours or so. There's a look outside right now from our front door here at WYMT. You could still see the reflection of some of the, at least, dampness on the front parking lot here in Hazard, but the rain is no longer falling. Downtown Whitesburg, the rain just now moving out. You see still soggy roadways there, but for the most part, we will continue to see the rain move out. In fact, it already has in many spots. Low to mid 40s throughout the region right now, so it is cool. Rather cold, actually. We're more than 20 degrees cooler than where we should be for this time of year, nearly 20 degrees cooler. Pinpoint Doppler shows the last of those showers moving out, at least the bulk of them. A few sprinkles can't be ruled out, though. But look out to the west. You see our big system headed up the east coast, but out to the west, much more quiet. That's heading our way for the next little bit. So go ahead and download that WYMT First Alert weather app. You may not need the radar for tonight as we look out there and see those temperatures falling, but you will definitely need it as temperatures fall even more later on in the week. Details on that in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, thank you, Evan. Officials say the University of Virginia student who is accused of killing 3 members of the school's football team and wounding 2 others showed signs of trouble. 2 students remain hospitalized from Sunday night's attack, and classes were canceled for a second day. CBS's Catherine Herridge has the latest from Charlottesville.
At the football stadium, students laid flowers at a makeshift memorial to their classmates.
They were really important to the UVA community.
As an eyewitness to the shooting comes forward.
So we thought he was going to shoot everyone in the bus at that point.
Sophomore Ryan Lynch says the charter bus with about 24 UVA students and a professor was pulling into a campus garage at the end of a field trip when she alleges the suspect, Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., confronted one of the football players.
He was like, you guys are always messing with me. Said something weird like that. But it was very bizarre because they didn't talk to him the whole trip.
Then Lynch alleges Jones started shooting.
There just kept coming more and more gunshots. The shooter just kind of walked or skipped off the bus.
3 UVA football players were killed. Second-year wide receiver Devin Chandler was an honor roll student who had previously played at Wisconsin. Third-year wide receiver Lavelle Davis Jr. was a 3-star recruit from South Carolina. He had just won a scholarship for the school year. And fourth-year linebacker Deshaun Perry hailed from Miami, Florida, another 3-star recruit who majored in studio art.
We just received information the suspect is in custody.
In an emotional moment during a live news conference Monday, the UVA police chief Tim Longo confirmed Jones' capture after a more than 12-hour manhunt. Authorities detailed recent complaints about Jones possessing a gun in September, though a weapon was not found, as well as an alleged hazing incident. But in that case, the witnesses did not cooperate.
He was still a student, but to my knowledge, he was no longer on the football team and hadn't been on the team for over a year.
The suspect's father, Christopher Jones Sr., said the last time he talked to his son, he seemed paranoid.
What happened? Why did it have to get this far?
He could have called me.
Authorities say the initial charges of second-degree murder will likely be upgraded as investigators learn more about the attack and the suspect's intent. Catherine here at CBS News, Charlottesville, Virginia.
And police have still not released a motive. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the holiday shopping season is here, and so are the Black Friday sales. Tips from a financial coach to make sure you don't break the bank.
But first, chilly air continues in the mountains through much of this week. The latest on when we see low temperatures in the 20s on the way.